What's up, everybody? It's Target Individual CJBK. So, real quick, I don't know. I tried to use the YouTube create a short, but for whatever reason, I keep getting this like weird static like sound in like the microphone, even though it's really quiet here, but it sounds like there's like a distorted like white noise. I'm trying to like basically mask over, what I'm trying to say or whatever. So, but I know every time when I do like a normal video record and then upload, it works. So, right now I'm in the bathtub, and I'm doing, I have the lights. Yeah, I have the lights off, and I'm basically doing what's called a radiation detox bath. One, I have the lights off because the light bulbs, I think if they're definitely a fluorescent light bulb or LED, they can be used as a source that emits an electromagnetic field, and they can take that constant, they can take that energy that's emitting from that electronic source and then use it as like converted like raw energy to then transfer into your body, since our bodies are all like highly conductive, especially due to the amounts of metal that is probably toxifying our bodies. um, what else? So yeah, I basically just to elaborate on it a little bit more. So our bodies produce electricity, right? But it's a natural electricity, regardless of if you believe in God or not. That's between you and the creator. I don't got no, that's for y'all to try to work that out. But basically, I hope you didn't hear that. But yeah, so the human body is a natural producer of electricity, right? We emit an electromagnetic field, but it's all natural. Our electromagnetic field is, in a sense, connected with, the earth, the universe, things of that sort. That's one of the reasons why a lot of spiritualists know the power of thought and how emotions or just the ability to manifest things into their physical life just by thinking, believing, and then doing the work necessary. You can manifest things into your life. Sometimes it may not always work for material things, but when it comes to spiritual healing or enlightenment or things of that sort, you can be able to find, the peace that's necessary for yourself. Now, electromagnetic fields, right? So, our bodies produce an electromagnetic field. Magnetic, well, electric, because we have energy that constantly flows throughout our nervous system, throughout our heart, brain, blah blah blah. Now, magnetic, meaning we pull in. We pull in, an amount of energy. We pull in the energies that are around us. And it's kind of almost uncontrollable unless you've learned how to do exercises or meditations that basically cleanse yourself or reduce the amount of energy that you can pull in. This is why I've been trying to like see if I can, get more TIs to, do research into things like, meditation or Qigong. Qigong spelled Q as in Quincy, I as in ice, Gong, G as in Gary, O as in orange, N as in Nancy, G as in Gary. And these are kind of like Asian style, Asian cultured meditations or exercises that basically focuses on the cleansing or maintenance of energy, of your energy and the energies all around you. Ooh, my hair is itching. I gotta wash my hair, but I'm gonna do that later because I gotta get up for work in like, what, 3 or 4 hours. Anyway, so electromagnetic, right? We pull in energy. Now, here's the thing about the weapons that they're using, right? Now, I'm not going to get into the synthetic telepathy part because that part, I think I think we all pretty much know how that works. And then if anything, you just kind of just go through some of my older, not older, but most recent videos within the last month. And I try my best to break it down with, with images and what else? Patents, things of that sort. As far as the way that they use man-made electromagnetic fields and radio frequencies to basically have an adverse or negative reaction to our nervous system, you also got to take in consideration that our bodies have been heightened or increased in conductivity exponentially. I don't know how many of you believe in chemtrails, but honestly, if you look up in the sky and you see all these damn lines in the air and you realize none of those are clouds, because normal what they call it it's something that there's a particular term for it that aerospace, not aerospace, but pilots, people who are aircraft engineers and stuff, they know that there's a normal thing where it's like a mixture of what is it, gas from the fuel and like carbon, what is it, I forgot, but it's basically crystallized liquid, that when it's at a certain altitude, it creates those kind of like vapor like streams, but they normally disappear after about like what, probably no more than 10 minutes. The stuff that you're seeing now that sits up in the sky for like hours, that's not normal like chemical compound just from like from water vapor crystallized in the air. That's not normal. That, and what has already been reported on the news anyway, is actually nano or micro metals that's being sprayed in the air. Now, it's already reported in the news that scientists said that they were going to spray these nanometals or these reflective nanoparticles in the air to try to get this deflect some of the sun's ultraviolet rays from the earth. Now, it always amazes me how man, who creates most of the problems that's wrong with the earth's pollution levels, instead of them just changing what we're doing that increases the amount of pollution, we figure we would create something that's not necessarily good for the earth and try to see if we can counter it with more pollution. Now, something else to take in mind is, okay, all these nanoparticle metals that they're spraying in the air, it has to come down at some point. And you know what happens when it comes down? When it comes down, all life is affected by it. All life is affected by it. Trees, all plants, birds, and I'm pretty darn sure everyone's noticed, a uptick in the amount of birds that are dying, bees that are dying. Why? Because they have been inhaling or digesting all of this metal that they can't necessarily contain themselves, so they die off. Or it throws off their own, because remember, birds get most, if not all animals, use what is basically a magnetic compass in their brain. Humans just haven't necessarily learned, or we probably have, moved so far away from like knowing how to use our own magnetic compass in our mind. Because remember, we have a magnetic property to ourselves as well. Now, all of this nano metal stuff is floating down to the earth, right? And then it gets into the water supply, it gets into our food, it gets in, it's in the air, it's everywhere we go. It's once it gets down to buildings, now it's circulating through the ventilation system. It's being pumped everywhere, and little by little, people are starting to like develop more and more ailments. Why? Because heavy metal toxicity, or increased levels of metal toxicity in the blood, results in the increase of our conductivity of electricity. The more electricity our body takes in, the more negative effects it would have on our nervous system, on our cognitive functioning, our immune system, our lymphatic system. Basically, we are under a not just spiritual warfare, we're under a biological and a technological warfare. And then the very worst part is, the perps who are actually helping with the so-called surveillance, or the behavioral what's the words I'm looking for, conditioning, or reconditioning. They don't realize they're a part of the experiment too. And all they're doing is basically doing the heavy lifting. They're basically doing the heavy lifting because obviously, the ones who are conducting the experiment, they can't allow themselves to ever be known or detected. So what do? They contract out. I mean, it's already proven, it's already being proven right now, that the CIA has a ton of secret programs where they contract out to non-CIA agents, and they train them in different techniques of surveillance. They even probably give them different devices, or show them different apparatuses to basically surveil and collect information on people that live in communities. So and when I think about that, I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. The CIA, like, I mean, I think about it, and I'm like, that's crazy that they actually I mean, I know that they do it, but once you become gangster, you just like, you put two and two together, and you just like, yo, that's the most craziest thing, because it's like they try to make you seem like you're the criminal, right? But they're the ones who's helping the very same people who basically will throw them, who give them up and throw them in prison the moment let's say the public starts to sniff a little too close to the CIA. And once they start, and if it starts to trace back to the CIA, the first thing the CIA is going to do is they're gonna throw anybody that's contracted to them under the bus. That's the first thing they're going to do. The CIA is not going to allow the American public to distrust it. They will throw everybody under the bus before the CIA is allowed to just basically get defunded or disbanded or anything like that. But anyway, so going back to it, conductivity. Now, as our bodies become more conductive to the man-made electromagnetic activity and the radio frequencies, and that's another thing. Once those particles, those nanoparticles, those metallic nanoparticles get into the bloodstream, and then more than likely it's going to get into the brain. Once it gets into the brain, that's where it really starts to, get funky, because the brain will store all of that, all of those heavy metals, and then every single electrical impulse that your brain will have will now be lit up like a Christmas tree, because there's so much metal that's probably deeply embedded into the tissue of your brain that now whenever you walk through anything that's connected to the Internet of Things, the IoT, whether it's Wi-Fi routers, cell towers, cell phones, what else? Power lines, LED lamps, can anything that's electronic and that can be connected to the internet in some way, if it puts out an electromagnetic field, the moment you walk around or you walk through something that has an electromagnetic field, and they're basically and I'm starting to truly believe now that they have access to a satellite, because I'm like, for them to have the full spectral view of everything, that not just what you see, but they can see the things that are around you, they have to have access to a satellite. And the satellite basically probably helps give a great virtual mapping of everything. I mean, when you think about how Google Earth, you can basically go to the street level and see everything around. I'm pretty sure that, like, when if you think about it, if you put some type of software that's similar to that, but it's like virtual reality, put that along with, an EEG and like an fMRI, and then, I know the military has, applications that basically sense all electromagnetic fields, whether it's organic or inorganic. You kind of can get the picture of that's how they know everything about us, because if they have an EEG type software that is basically reading your brainwave activity, because think about it, if you think of something, right, and you know that you haven't been anywhere to actually be implanted, right? And but then you know what? Here's the other thing. I don't know if you all have seen my other video where Microsoft has a patent that even if you're not wearing a device, but your body area, your body activity, the electrical activity of your body can be sensed by the electromagnetic fields of anything that's connected to the internet. That was mind blowing, because I was like, wait, that's like a silver bullet right there. That was what I really needed to know. That was something I really needed to find, was to know that they can actually read your body activity just by simply walking through an electromagnetic field of something that's connected to the internet. And then the worst part is, the patent is about how you can earn cryptocurrency based on the rewards given by a successfully completed task based on the body's activity. Or let's say if your task was to run up 5 flights of steps, right? If you complete the run up the five flights of steps, you would be rewarded in cryptocurrency, and from some server into like your wallet or something like that, your digital wallet. And that's crazy. So then now when you think about that, it's like it makes even more sense how many people can actually be involved in this system, knowing that there is a way to make money off of people in like a new slaves, like it's like new slaves, human trafficking, cyber, eugenics. It's the most craziest thing. And then I keep trying to tell people this. Um, Grand, GRAND dash net dot no, sorry, grand dash jury dot net. It's a whole legal proceeding about international lawyers, doctors, and scientists presenting their evidence that proves that the coronavirus pandemic is, in fact, actually a pandemic, and giving so much information about how the virus itself is no different from a common cold, but people are dying from not just the virus, but they're being killed from the treatments that they're giving. They're being killed from well, obviously they're most likely being killed by directed energy and things of that sort too. Because if you look at radiation sickness and you compare it to the symptoms of coronavirus, I mean, you'd find some starking similarities. Um, plus, there's actually, if you go on the NIH if you go on the NIH published studies website, I forgot the whole thing that you spelled, but it's like a NIH.gov type thing. There are several studies that were conducted by doctors and scientists that proves that the radiation from man-made electromagnetic fields and things that are connected to the IoT world, cell phones, cell towers, 5G, all this stuff, actually can basically be used or weaponized to cause several different types of illnesses, including death, through radiation. And then also, when you think about it, what else? Someone also pointed out the fact that when you look at the present, when you look at the very beginning, or you look at the map of how how the COVID deaths started, right? Keep in mind, around the same exact time that coronavirus started to branch out from China, it was around the same exact time that 5G towers fully started to become operational. You don't have to take me on my word for this. You can look it up yourself. But I'm just saying it sure made a whole lot of sense when I did the reading and I pieced it together myself. But and it's crazy because when you think about it, these gang stalkers think that because they're on the other end where they're helping with, I guess, cleanse the world, right? They're basically the new Nazis. They are the new Nazis. And race does not matter because I already know black folks that's a part of this, that's doing it to other black folks. There's white folks that's a part of it, doing it to other white folks. There's Asian folks doing it, that's part of it, doing it to other Asian folks. There's Middle Eastern, like all the races are involved. And I got chills when I said that. And y'all already know how I feel. Anytime I get chills when I talk about, something that I know is true, that's God letting me know, keep going, keep flowing. You're on the right path. Race does not matter in this whole thing. And if any of your perps tell you race is a part of it, they're lying. They're trying to basically turn it into a racial thing when it's not racial at all. They don't even realize they are helping with the agenda of basically committing a global eugenics experiment that is to kill off, basically anybody who has the light of God in them, honestly. When you think about most TIs that you've ever met, most of the TIs that I've ever met were always these non-violent, very empathic, very loving, caring people. I mean, nothing about them seems like hateful people. Now, if anybody might have if anybody speaks their mind about the truth about how other people act or whatever, and I mean, honestly, if you make a living beating over elderly people in the head to steal money from them, and you're somebody who's in your home and you're saying, I can't believe these people out here, these animals out here beating up elderly people and stealing their money. And then all of a sudden, a gang stalker just happen to be over here, and you say that. They're like, oh, he talking about people. That's what they said that I do. They said that I talk about people. So I'm just like, there's nothing that I would ever say out my mouth that's not warranted. Anything that I say out my mouth usually is always based off of some type of merit that proves that speaks on something that was immoral or unethical. I don't just be out here talking bad about people, because I don't even waste my energy on doing something like that, you know. But anyway, yeah. So, right, back to conductivity now. Because we have all of these, these metal particles in our body, we have to learn to start detoxing the heavy metals from our body. Now, I've definitely found an app on, I think it's on the Google Play Store as well, but there's on the Apple Store, Apple App Store, whatever, App Store, yeah, App Store. It's an app called Z as in zebra dash app, and it's a frequency generator, and it has a plethora of different frequency sequences. Now, healing frequencies is basically sound. It's sound that can be played, and then it would resonate with the cells of your body, and it will induce changes. It will induce a reaction in your body that will encourage your body to heal. A lot of people don't realize that, every single cell in your body, whether it's a cell, tissue, virus, organism, cancer cell, whatever, it all has a vibrational frequency. They all have a frequency. Even your thoughts, even the moment you just think of the word or the color blue, that's a frequency that just fired in your brain, right? Now you can listen. You can find the numbers for frequencies. You can find the frequency number for certain illnesses and things for free. For free. I don't know how these gang stalkers basically got everybody on board with what they're doing, because everything that they could have promised them, I either can get myself without causing harm to anyone, or I can find it on the internet for free. I have no idea what they were promised, but it ain't gonna be worth what's gonna happen to their soul once they leave this earth, you know. But anyway, so right, so conductivity. I keep losing my track of thought. But conductivity. So as our bodies, are needing to be detoxed of these heavy metals, and remember, metal actually holds or retains radiation, or the non-ionized energy. It retains it. So if you think about it, if we detox our bodies of these heavy metals, because it's not going to come up, it's not going to show up in blood work or anything like that. Because I don't think they test for the type of metals or whatever that we're being polluted with, because it would come up, in your blood work. You will see if you're iron. Well, iron is iron, but certain metals I don't think they test for in your blood works. Now, if we begin to detox heavy metals, which there is a frequency sequence for it, we can probably alleviate a lot of our directed energy attacks. And it will also probably minimize the ability of the perps to be able to track our electromagnetic field. Now, I mean, I'm not 100% certain on it, but I do know that, because our bodies are highly, are extra conductive, and then also the metal in our body is making us a lot more electro sensitive. We might be able to do something about this, so it's really just a matter of just taking your mind out of yourself. You have to like that's one thing that I've learned to teach myself about when it comes to this is I have to remove myself out of my body. Because you got to remember this, and this is going to help you deal with it so much easier. Pain is a part of life. Suffering is a part of life. Hardship is a part of life. Just like joy, just like love, just like healing, just like everything else, if you keep thinking you're going to try to outrun or or basically hide or do everything you can to avoid everything that you're supposed to feel in this world, you are going to make your suffering so much more harder. Just like all of these gang stalkers who believe that they're going to get away with everything that they're doing because it's so many of them and they have all this technology, and they're basically hoarding resources and they're hoarding money to themselves, and they're basically, gimme, 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 gimme. You gotta remember, there have been several societies and several civilizations in the past that tried to do exactly the same thing they're doing now. And a lot of them are destroyed or are in hiding with far less number in population of who they were. That's why they're moving so secretive now. Anyway, so yeah, we gotta detox. Detox. But what else? Oh, right. So something else, the grounding. I've been doing this to my mattress, and I got the idea from a YouTuber named Robert Stanson. That's his channel, Robert Stanson. Last name S as in Sam, T as in time, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy. I think it's T as in time, S as in Sam, O as in orange, N as in Nancy. So Stanson. It might be without the second T, but you'll probably figure it out. And long story short, he basically used alligator clamps. I think like a 10 gauge copper wiring, and he basically connected the copper wiring to alligator clamps, clipped the alligator clamp to the springs of his mattress, but he also did his box spring too. Clipped the alligator clamps to the spring of his mattress, and then on the other end, he had the 12. He had the 10 gauge copper wire connected into some other. I think it was like a grounding plug or something like that. Now, there's that way. And then also I've noticed this thing that Tony Pentalaresco, from the YouTube channel Herbs Beads, I think it's Herbs Beads plus Work, something like that. Herbs Beads Work, something like that. And he does something similar where he basically takes the copper, he takes the copper wiring and he attaches it to an alligator clamp. And then he then takes the other end of the copper wire and attaches another alligator clamp to it, right? So it's two alligator clamps on it, on one copper wire. He then takes let me see. He then takes one end, clips it to like a piece of metal that's separate from him or whatever. Well, he didn't do it to his bed, but you know, this you could pretty much do the same thing. Clip it to a separate piece of metal that's not connected to him, and then you just take the alligator, the other end that's not clipped to anything. You could either clip it to your mattress, or whatchamacallit, or you can clip it to what he did was created a portable grounding piece where he took some magnets and put them together so that they're repelling each other, and then wrapped them in a copper foil sheet. And then as he wrapped them in the copper foil sheet, then he like left a little gap in it, and then he took the unclipped side of the alligator clamp and then put that on the copper magnetic piece that he made, right? Then he took that copper magnetic piece and placed it against the skin of his body. That didn't matter where, and I could attest, it doesn't matter where you put it, you're gonna feel the difference. The reason for this is because the copper is conductive. Copper is conductive, but also when you have repelling magnets wrapped around a copper, I think what it does, it basically encourages energy to become even more conducive to the copper, and then it transfers through the copper. It transfers through the alligator clamp, through the copper wire, then it goes through the other alligator clamp, and then into a separate piece of metal that's not connected to your body. What that's doing is, whether you understand it fully or not, our bodies are encased. We are literally encased in radio frequencies. We are encased in radio frequencies, and radio frequencies contain energy. Energy that is, I think it's phonon energy. Phonon is basically the quantum particle name for sound energy. And then you also have photon. Photon is the quantum particle name for light energy. Now, we are encased in frequency. The frequencies surround are like literally all over our skin. The moment you put that copper magnetic piece onto your skin, you will almost hear like a tone, or like a tone just kind of decrease in your head. Because remember, everything that they're doing as far as the electronic harassment deals with the brain first. They have to connect to your brain first before they can be able to do anything else to your body. The moment you put that piece on your skin, you will then hear like a tone just change down. Like it's almost like something just got reduced. And then little do you realize, you will start to almost feel like energy is like basically transferring out of you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. I suck at making short videos. I really was supposed to try to make this a 5-minute video, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like once I get going, I need to just get it all out. And, depending on if, a person decides they want to listen to the whole thing, well, I mean, they could do like I do, listen to some and then come back to it. But Anyway, I just wanted to make sure I get that out because you never know when you're gonna go. Life's a bitch until you die. But anyway, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace. Detox every day.